Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Arkham Files. My name is Dr. Henderson.
My name is Dr. Boose.
And today, we're going to dive into another one of Batman's notorious rogues. This week, we're going to talk about the facilitator of fear himself, the Scarecrow. Comparing him to other villains, where does he rank for you?
He's in my I would say top 3 because he's my second favorite.
All right. Yeah, I can probably agree with that.
Yeah, like if I had to label, I mean, who would you label your top 3?
Riddler, number 1. Yeah. Scarecrow, and Two-Face.
For me, it's Freeze, Scarecrow, Joker. Yeah.
Nice. Joker's like number 4.
Joker's like 10. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I love your list too. Riddler's in my 5. I think he's my number 5. I'm not too sure. I'd say number 4 is probably like Harley Quinn. I like her a lot. But anyways,
yeah.
Let's continue.
All right. The Scarecrow, or Dr. Jonathan Crane, who used to work at Arkham Asylum, also, mind you that, is a supervillain appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. Created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane, he made his debut in World's Finest Comics number 3 in September of 1941. He is one of the most enduring enemies of the hero Batman and belongs to the collective of adversaries that make up the Dark Knight's Rogues Gallery. As a self-proclaimed master of fear, the Scarecrow is a former professor of psychology who uses a variety of experimental toxins and psychological tactics to exploit the fears and phobias of his victims and adversaries, especially Batman's. He does not commit his crimes for wealth, but rather for the thrill and power of terrifying people, as well as to conduct research to further study the effects of fear on humans, making the citizens of Gotham City his unwilling test subjects. Do you think, based off that, he is a large threat to the city?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, because having like this is going to sound stupid the way I'm going to word this, but having fear can cause a lot of people to go mad and crazy, and it can tear people apart. Like in
your favorite Batman Arkham game.
Yes. Let's not get into that right now. But, it can tear people apart. And so I think that's a good weapon to choose. And why not fight fire with fire, such as Batman? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Ever since his introduction, the Scarecrow has been substantially adapted into various forms of media, such as films, television series, and video games. Many actors have provided the voice for the character over the years, including Henry Pollock II and Jeffrey Combs in the DC animated universe, Dino Andrade and John Noble in the Batman Arkham video game universe, Robert Englund in Injustice 2, and Raul Coley in Harley Quinn. In live action, the Scarecrow has been portrayed in film by Cillian Murphy in the Dark Knight trilogy, and in television by Charlie Tahan and David W. Thomas in Gotham, and Vincent Kartheiser in the 3rd season of Titans.
How was he in Gotham, by the way?
He was great in Gotham.
He was great in Gotham.
The beginning, he was a little boy, and his dad was like experimenting on his own son.
Huh.
And then you see later on he's grown up and he's like got full on Scarecrow, like got the outfit, the hat, and everything.
Do they do the whole? He was a worker at
no
Arkham Asylum. Oh,
no, his dad like made him insane by like injecting him with all this different stuff, and I guess it just like drove him crazy.
Okay.
Because he like hallucinated. He used to hallucinate like scarecrows, is what. Like, because and it had something to do with like where he was like, there's like a scarecrow behind him in like this cornfield where his dad would take him, and like it was crazy.
Okay.
All right. But what's your favorite version of the Scarecrow? Obviously, we haven't really had that many. We have one live action, basically like movie Scarecrow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
and he's not my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not. I like one of the Arkham games interpretation of Scarecrow. That being Arkham Asylum.
Okay.
Arkham Knight, I think they kind of butchered the character a lot. That's probably a really hot take, but that's just the way I feel.
That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. So yes. But
what did he look like in Titans? Hang on.
I don't know. I know people. I know you don't like this take of but I love his design in Asylum way more than Arkham Knights. And you think that's crazy. But anyways, if I had to pick my favorite interpretation of the character, it is Arkham Asylum.
All right, the Titan Scarecrow doesn't look all that great, so I'm just gonna not deal with that.
From what I've seen, at least, maybe Gotham has a great version of him.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leading towards because, Robert Englund's Injustice 2 Scarecrow is all right. It was very, very strange looking.
Very strange. Okay.
I don't like the Dark Knight version. Mm-hmm. Mainly because I don't think he should be wearing a suit.
Yeah, it's really weird. He wears this mask and stuff, and I don't know.
The Titans one didn't look good. The Gotham one's good. Haven't seen him in Harley Quinn, but
yeah, I saw him in Harley Quinn. He dies immediately.
Oh well.
Yeah, Joker kills him.
So Batman Arkham. Okay.
I like Arkham Asylum the best.
Yeah, Batman Arkham is my second, but Gotham. Even though there's 12 different versions of his outfit in Gotham, but just that version of Scarecrow in general is my favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some publication history. Bill Finger and Bob Kane introduced Scarecrow in the fall of 1941 for World's Finest Comics #3, during the golden age of comic books, in which he only made 2 appearances. The source of inspiration Kane found for the character came from Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, whose main character, Ichabod Crane, also had an odd Scarecrow-like physique. Ichabod's surname and bookish appearance were used to create Scarecrow's alter ego, Jonathan Crane.
Okay.
The character was revived during the Silver Age of comic books by writer Gardner Fox and artist Sheldon Moldoff in the pages of Batman number 189 in February of 1967. Still maintaining his origin story from the Golden Age, it was also Batman number 189 that the Scarecrow's signature fear toxin, a hallucinogenic chemical that makes people have horrific visions of their worst fears, debuted. The character remained relatively unchanged throughout the Bronze Age of comic books. Following the 1986 multi-title event Crisis on Infinite Earths reboot, the character's origin story is expanded in Batman Annual number 19 and the miniseries Batman Scarecrow Year 1, with this narrative also revealing that Crane has a fear of bats. In 2011, as a result of the New 52 reboot, Scarecrow's origin, as well as that of various other DC characters, is completely altered, incorporating several elements that differ from its original.
Okay. I always thought it was kind of ironic of Scarecrow fear himself.
Yeah.
So
scared of bats.
Yeah, scared of who so happens to be our main hero, Batman.
Yeah. Also, I want to talk about the New 52 real quick now, because obviously it changed a lot of different characters' backstories, and obviously I know you didn't like the way it changed Mr. Freeze's backstory.
Oh yeah, I really don't like that.
But do you think the New 52 did it did well for DC, right?
I guess for me it just depends on what character.
Yeah, because I'm reading Suicide Squad's New 52 first run. I got Flash, the Justice League, Batman, Green Arrow, and those are all.
New 52 is pretty good.
Yeah, Justice League is really good, but you got Jeff Johns is writing the Justice League one, and Jim Lee's doing the art.
That's a perfect combo right there.
Yeah, it's so good. All right,
I'm just not a fan of a couple of takes they've done on the character. Like I again, with Mr. Freeze bringing him up again, I just think they changed the whole best part about him.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's like them changing Magneto's whole reason of why he's a villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just, you
feel strongly about this.
Oh yeah.
If you guys want to hear our thoughts on that, you can go listen to the Mr. Freeze episode that we did just a few weeks ago.
Yes.
All right, continuing on. Let's get the backstory. Jonathan Crane is bullied at school for his resemblance to Ichabod Crane from Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, sparking his lifelong obsession with fear and using it as a weapon against others. In his senior year, Crane is humiliated by school bully Bo Griggs and rejected by cheerleader Sherry Squires. He takes revenge during the senior prom by donning his trademark Scarecrow costume and brandishing a gun in the school parking lot. In the ensuing chaos, Griggs gets into a car accident, paralyzing himself and killing Squires. Crane's obsession with fear leads him to become a psychologist, taking a position at Arkham Asylum and performing fear-inducing experiments on his patients. He is also a professor of psychology at Gotham University, specializing in the study of phobias. He loses his job after he fires a gun inside a packed classroom, accidentally wounding a student. He takes revenge by killing the professors responsible for his termination and becomes a career criminal. As a college professor, Crane mentors a young Thomas Elliot. The character also has a cameo in Sandman Volume 2, Number 5. Oh, so that's cool. So, I don't know which Sandman this is. If this is like, the Sandman, like they're adapting a Netflix show about, or this. There's also another hero called Sandman, who's in the Justice Society of America. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm assuming it's the Justice Society one, but
no, it is not. It is the other one, the Neil Gaiman.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting. I didn't know. I got worried that now.
Yeah, well,
I thought it was just like a one spin-off, like a one-off story or something. It's actually connected. All right. In stories by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, the Scarecrow is depicted as one of the more deranged criminals in Batman's Rogues Gallery, with a habit of speaking in nursery rhymes. What? I don't believe I've read any comic or seen anything where he talks in nursery rhymes. That is the Mad Hatter.
Yes. Are you on the right page? Like,
yes.
Page
the stories by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. That's strange.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
These stories further revise his history, explaining that he was raised by his abusive, fanatically religious great-grandmother, whom he murdered as a teenager. Well, murdering your grandma. All right, here we go. Let's get into the bulk of this criminal career.
He wants to be Cletus Cassidy so bad.
Cletus Cassidy wants to be a Scarecrow.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Scarecrow plays a prominent role in Doug, pretty sure it's pronounced Minch. So Doug Minch's terror storyline set in Batman's early years, while Professor Hugo Strange breaks him out of Arkham and gives him therapy in order to train him to defeat Batman. Strange's therapy proves effective enough to turn the Scarecrow against his benefactor, impaling him on a weather vane and throwing him in the cellar of his own mansion. The Scarecrow then uses Strange's mansion to lure Batman to Crime Alley and decapitates one of his former classmates in the alley in front of Batman. With the help of Catwoman, whom Scarecrow had attempted to blackmail into helping him by capturing her and photographing her unmasked, Batman catches Scarecrow, but loses sight of Strange, with it being unclear whether Strange had actually survived the fall into the weather vane, or if Scarecrow and Batman are hallucinating from exposure to Scarecrow's fear toxin. That must have inspired Batman Arkham City in the end of that.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because that's the same thing, just switched with racial.
Yeah, I was more bitch. I'm like, man, that sounds just like Arkham City. I was really about to say that.
That's interesting. Already learning stuff.
Oh yes.
All right, here we go. Yes, here's the good stuff right here. Scarecrow appears in Batman The Long Halloween, first seen escaping from Arkham on Mother's Day with the help from Carmine Falcone, who also helps the Mad Hatter escape. The Scarecrow gasses Batman with fear toxins as he escapes, causing Batman to flee to his parents' grave as Bruce Wayne, where he is arrested by Commissioner Jim Gordon due to Wayne's suspected ties to Falcone. Scarecrow robs a bank with the Mad Hatter on Independence Day for Falcone, but is stopped by Batman and Catwoman. He later appears in Falcone's office on Halloween with Batman's future Rogues Gallery, but is defeated by Batman. Scarecrow returns in Batman Dark Victory as part of Two-Face's gang, and is first seen putting fear gas in children's dolls on Christmas Eve. He's eventually defeated by Batman. He later appears as one of the villains present at the Calendar Man's trial. It is revealed he and Calendar Man had been manipulating Falcone's son Alberto. Scarecrow had determined that Alberto feared his father and poisoned his cigarettes with the fear toxin to bring out the fear. Calendar Man, meanwhile, had been talking to Alberto, with the fear toxin making Alberto hear his father's voice. Together, they manipulate Alberto into making an unsuccessful assassination attempt on his sister, Sophia Gigante? Not sure. After Two-Face's hideout is attacked, Batman captures Scarecrow, who tells him where Two-Face is heading. And Catwoman, when in Rome, Scarecrow supplies the Riddler with fear gas to manipulate Catwoman, and later aids Riddler when he fights Catwoman in Rome. Scarecrow accidentally attacks Cheeto with his scythe before Catwoman knocks him out. So, going back to Carmine Falcone's daughter, Sophia or whatever. She was at Gotham. So I do know that character. It's something I recognized. See, Gotham just helps out. I know so much because of that show.
Yeah. So you're implying that I should watch it? So
yes. Yes. Okay. It's a good time.
Okay. It's a good time. Okay. I give you word for it. I keep your word for it.
All right. The Scarecrow appears in such story arcs as Nightfall and Shadow of the Bat, first teaming with the Joker to ransom off the mayor of Gotham City. Batman foils their plan and forces him to retreat. Scarecrow betrays Joker by spraying him with fear gas, but it has absolutely no effect. Joker then beats Scarecrow senseless with a chair. Scarecrow later tries to take over Gotham with an army of hypnotized college students, commanding them to spread his fear toxin all over the city. His lieutenant is the son of the first man he killed. He's confronted by both Batman Azrael and Anarchy and tries to escape by forcing his lieutenant to jump off of a building. Batman Azrael knocks him out, and Anarchy manages to save the boy. There's just that one sentence. Joker then beats Scarecrow senseless with the chair. It's like the whole sentence.
Yeah.
That is the best.
I'll say it's pretty funny because that's how he dies in the Harley Quinn show. Joker sprays his flower spray or whatever on him, and it's like,
and he beats him senseless with a chair.
And it like kills Scarecrow. So that's so funny. That would actually never hurt him.
Huh. It's pretty cool. Where was I? All right. Despite his criminal history, he's still recognized as a skilled psychologist. When Aquaman needs insight into a serial killer operating in his new city of San Diego, having been sunk and the inhabitants turned into water breathers by a secret organization, he consults with Scarecrow for insight into the pattern of the killer's crimes. Scarecrow determining that killer chose his victims by the initials of their first and last name spelled out the message, "I can't take it anymore," thus allowing Aquaman to determine both the true identity and final target of the real killer. So imagine this. You're Aquaman. You live in San Diego, but is now underwater, and everyone that lives there are now water breathers somehow.
You already lost me.
You go to get help Aquaman from Scarecrow. That is a strange story.
Well, I always kind of like the idea of like, even though the villains are like, villains, like heroes still use them for like insight on stuff.
Yeah.
I've always liked that idea.
All right. In the 2004 story arc, As the Crow Flies, Scarecrow is hired by the Penguin under false pretenses. Dr. Linda Furtawa then secretly mutates Scarecrow into a murderous creature known as the Scare Beast, who Penguin uses to kill off his disloyal minions. The character's later appearances all show him as an unmutated Crane again, except for an appearance during the War Games story arc. Scarecrow appears in the third issue of War Games, saving Black Mask from Batman and acting as the crime lord's ally until outside the building trying to find and kill Black Mask. Wait. I skipped something just then when I was reading this.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
Like you did.
Don't judge me, okay? It's late. Here we go. Until Black Mask uses him to disable a security measure in the clock tower by literally throwing Scarecrow at it. Scarecrow wakes up, transforms into Scare Beast, and wreaks havoc outside the building, trying to find and kill Black Mask. He's basically the Hulk. The police are unable to take it down and allow Catwoman, Robin, Tarantula 2, and Onyx to fight Scare Beast, as Commissioner Michael Akins had told all officers to capture or kill any vigilantes, costume criminals, or masks they find. Even they cannot defeat the Scare Beast, though he appears to have been defeated after the clock tower explodes. Well, what's this? Here we go. The Scarecrow reappears alongside other Batman villains on Gotham Underground, first among the villains meeting at the Iceberg Lounge to be captured by the Suicide Squad. Scarecrow escapes by gassing Bronze Tiger with fear toxin. He later appears during warning the second ventriloquist, Firefly, Killer Moth, and Lockup, who are planning to attack the Penguin. What? Okay. The file here, this is like, it's written weird. Planning to attack the Penguin. That Penguin is allied with the Suicide Squad. The villains wave off his warnings and mock him. He later leads the same four into a trap orchestrated by Tobias Whale. Killer Moth, Firefly, and Lockup all survive, but are injured and unconscious to varying degrees. The Scarface puppet is killed, and Peyton Riley, the new ventriloquist, is unharmed, though because his grandfather was one of the first citizens of Gotham killed by a masked criminal. The story arc ends with the Whale beating Scarecrow up and leaving him bound and gagged as a sign to all masks that they are not welcome in Whale's new vision of Gotham. Okay. Scarecrow appears in Batman Hush, working for the Riddler in Hush. He composes profiles on the various villains of Gotham so Riddler and Hush can manipulate them to their own ends. He later gasses Huntress with his fear gas, making her attack Catwoman. He attacks Batman in a graveyard only to learn his fear is ineffective due to Hush's bug. But before he can reveal that he is knocked out by Jason Todd. Scarecrow also appears in Batman Heart of Hush, kidnapping a child to distract Batman so Hush can attack Catwoman. When Batman tries to rescue the child, Scarecrow activates a venom implant, causing the boy to attack Batman. He's defeated when Batman ties the boy's teddy bear to Scarecrow, causing the child to attack Scarecrow. After capturing Scarecrow, Batman forces him to reveal Hush's location. Imagine being defeated because you had a teddy bear tied to your chest.
Just imagine. Okay.
You just give up.
Sure. Just give up, yes.
Exactly. In the Battle for the Cowl storyline, Scarecrow is recruited by a new Black Mask to be a part of a group of villains who are aiming to take over Gotham in the wake of Batman's apparent death. He later assists the crime lord in manufacturing a recreational drug called Thrill, which draws the attention of Oracle and Batgirl, which apparently are two different people in the storyline. He's later defeated by Batgirl and once again arrested. And that was the end of his criminal career.
Huh.
Now, get some more. We got one with Blackest Night, the comic story. Scarecrow briefly appears in the 4th issue of the Blackest Night storyline. His immunity to fear brought by frequent exposure to his own toxin renders him practically invisible to the invading Black Lanterns. That drug has taken a further toll on his sanity, exacerbated by the long disappearance of Batman in the Batman R.I.P. storyline. He develops a literal addiction to fear, exposing himself deliberately to the Revenant army, but knowing that Batman could scare him again. Using a duplicate of Sinestro's power ring, he is deputized into the Sinestro Corps for 24 hours in order to combat the Black Lanterns. Overjoyed at finally being able to feel fear again, Scarecrow gleefully and without question follows Sinestro's commands. His celebration is cut short when Lex Luthor, overwhelmed by the orange light of avarice, steals his ring.
Huh.
We got his.
I mean, it makes sense to me. Scarecrow being a, Yellow Lantern, but you know what I'm saying? It's cool. A little twist in there. I'm into it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the Brightest Day comic, which I'm pretty sure might be a sequel to that, Darkest Night. During the events of Brightest Day, Scarecrow begins kidnapping and murdering college interns working for LexCorp as a way of getting back at Lex Luthor for stealing his ring. When Robin and Supergirl attempt to stop him, Scarecrow unleashes a new fear toxin that's powerful enough to affect a Kryptonian. The toxin forces Supergirl to see visions of the Black Lantern Reactron, but she's able to snap out of the illusion and help Robin defeat Scarecrow. He's eventually freed from Arkham when Deathstroke and the Titans break into the asylum in order to capture one of the inmates.
Okay.
Well, all right. Let's move on to the New 52, Scarecrow. All right, in 2011, the New 52 rebooted the DC universe. Scarecrow is a central villain in the Batman family of books and first appeared in the New 52 in Batman The Dark Knight #4 in February of 2012, written by David Finch and Paul Jenkins. His origin story is also altered. In this continuity, his father, Gerald Crane, used him as a test subject in his fear-based experiments. During one of these experiments, Crane's father locked him inside a little dark room, but suffered a fatal heart attack before he could let Jonathan out. Jonathan was trapped in a test chamber for days until being freed by some employers of the university. As a result of this event, he was irreparably traumatized and developed an obsession with fear. He became a psychologist specializing in phobias. Eventually, Crane began using patients as test subjects for his fear toxin. His return to criminality is also markedly different in this version. The New 52 Scarecrow is fired from his professorship for covering an arachnophobic student with spiders and becomes a criminal after stabbing a patient to death. I like this origin more than the first one.
Yeah.
Covers a guy in spiders.
Covers. I mean, I'm into it. I mean, I can dig it. Yeah, I'm into the classic of, who's a doctor and like he just went, you know what I'm saying? But I am into this one a lot.
Yeah.
I am into this one.
Mm-hmm. The Scarecrow kidnaps Poison Ivy and works with Bane to create and distribute to various Arkham inmates a new form of venom infused with the Scarecrow's fear toxin. With the help of Superman and the Flash, Batman defeats the villains. Scarecrow surfaces again in Batman The Dark Knight #10, pinned by Greg Hurwitz, for a 6-issue arc. The Scarecrow kidnaps James Gordon and several children and eventually releases his fear toxin into the atmosphere. Scarecrow is also used as a pawn by the Joker in Death of the Family arc. He's referred to as Batman's physician. Scarecrow appears in Swamp Thing Volume 5, number 19 in June 2013, which is a really good story, by the way. The whole Swamp Thing. New 52 is really good. Scarecrow appears clipping flowers for his toxins at the Metropolis Botanical Garden. Swamp Thing attempts to save Scarecrow from cutting a poisonous flower, not realizing who the villain is. Scarecrow attempts to use his fear toxin on Swamp Thing. The toxin causes Swamp Thing to lose control of his powers until Superman intervenes. He's later approached by the outsider of the secret society of supervillains to join up with the group. Scarecrow accepts the offer. All right. As part of Villains Month, Detective Comics Volume 2, number 23.3, September 2013, was titled The Scarecrow Number 1. Scarecrow goes to see Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, and Riddler, and informs them of a war at Blackgate Penitentiary is coming, and learns where each of the alliances live. Through his conversations with each, Scarecrow learns that Bane may be the cause of the Blackgate uprising and will be their leader at the impending war. It's also stated that the talons from the Court of Owls were stored at Blackgate on ice. Later, looking over the divided city, Scarecrow claims that once the war is over and the last obstacle has fallen, Gotham will be his. Scarecrow approaches Professor Pig at Gotham Memorial Hospital to see if he will give his supplies and Dollatrons to Scarecrow's followers. Scarecrow goes to Penguin next, who has already planned for the impending war by blowing up the bridges giving access to Gotham City. Scarecrow and Man-Bat attempt to steal the frozen talons from Blackgate while Penguin is having a meeting with Bane. Killer Croc rescues Scarecrow and Man-Bat from Blackgate and brings Scarecrow to Wayne Tower, where he gives Killer Croc control of Wayne Tower, as it no longer suits him. Scarecrow begins waking the talons in his possession, having doused them with his fear gas and using Mad Hatter's mind control technology in their helmets to control them. At Arkham Asylum, Scarecrow senses that he has lost the talons after Bane freed them from Mad Hatter's mind control technology. Scarecrow then turns to his next plan, giving the other inmates a small dose of Bane's venom to temporarily transform them. Upon Bane declaring that Gotham City is finally his, he has Scarecrow hanged between two buildings. Well, that did not end well for him.
Yeah, it certainly did not. Good lord.
In Batman and Robin Eternal, flashbacks reveal that Scarecrow is the first villain faced by Dick Grayson as Robin in the New 52 universe, when his and Batman's investigations into Scarecrow's crimes lead Batman to Mother, a woman who believes that tragedy and trauma serve as positive influences to help people become stronger. To this end, Mother has Scarecrow developed a new style of fear toxin that makes the brain suffer the same experience as witnessing a massive trauma. The Scarecrow turns against Mother as the victims of this plan would become incapable of feeling anything. Recognizing that Mother will kill him once he has outlived his usefulness, Scarecrow attempts to turn himself over to Batman, but Batman uses this opportunity to have him deliver a fake psychological profile of him to Mother, claiming that Batman is a scarred child terrified of losing the people he cares for to make Mother think she understands him. In the present day, his mother unleashes a new hypnotic signal to take control of the world's children. The Bat family abducts Scarecrow to brew up a new batch of his trauma toxin after determining that it nullifies the controlling influence of Mother's signal until they can shut down her main base. I didn't understand any of that.
Yeah, I said it did not.
All I got, there's a person named Mother, and she likes to hypnotize children. That's all I get. Fun time. Here we go. In the final section, DC Rebirth. All right. In DC Rebirth, Scarecrow works with the Haunter to release a low dose of fear toxin around Gotham on Christmas and sets up a small stand for her to pick up the toxin. Both he and Haunter are paralyzed with the toxin's effects, allowing Batman to apprehend them. Scarecrow later emerges using a Sinestro Core power ring to induce fear and rage against Batman and random citizens throughout Gotham, to the point where he provokes Alfred Pennyworth into threatening to shoot Simon Baz as part of his final assault. In the Watchmen sequel Doomsday Clock, Scarecrow is among the villains who attend the underground meeting held by the Riddler that talks about the Superman theory. Wanting to take on other bad guys outside of Dr. Sivana, Mastermind, and Black Adam and Herkimer, Shazam flies to Gotham where he hears about a hostage situation caused by Scarecrow. Shazam starts to fight him when he starts to get affected by the fear gas. Batman shows up and regains control of the situation by defeating Scarecrow and administering the antidote. As Scarecrow is arrested, Batman states to Shazam that Scarecrow is too dangerous for him to fight. And that is Scarecrow's whole biography.
I'm sorry. I think my brother's watching Midnight right now. I was hearing the song every day I wake up.
Nice.
Sorry, my bad. I was like confused. I was like, what is that noise? He's my bad.
You're fine. Let's see. What else has he done? Hey, here we go. Did you know the Scarecrow appears in Batman Daredevil, King of New York, in which he attempts to use the Kingpin's criminal empire to disperse his fear gas over New York City? He's defeated when Daredevil, the man without fear, proves immune to the gas.
Oh, is it because he can't see?
No, it's because he's the man without fear.
Oh, okay. I guess that's something to do with it as well.
Come on.
I guess. I don't know.
Did you know that they have a DC versus Marvel? There is a Marvel Universe Scarecrow that kidnaps Lois Lane.
Yes, I do know that.
Let's see. What's this? That is not important. It's just this is going over a bunch of different versions of the character and what he's done in a bunch of different comics. He was in Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got him here in Injustice Gods Among Us. Yeah. And that's pretty much it for his main thing, but I do have the top 10 scariest things the Scarecrow has done. Let me get into that. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. The first thing, he crafted his classic glove. And like in more recent depictions of the character, Scarecrow's been shown to wear a glove with various needles protruding from the end of each finger, which I think that version is a lot better than most, in my opinion. I like the needles.
Yeah.
These needles are designed to expose Crane's victims to various types of his fear toxin. However, while the glove has a practical use for the villain, it also strongly resembles the glove worn by a classic horror movie character, Freddy Krueger. Krueger, most known for terrorizing children in their nightmares, falls very close to the same personality type that Scarecrow does. While the glove isn't directly intended to rip off Krueger's classic look, the similarities certainly help audiences associate just how scary the Scarecrow can be. He had sewn his own face together. Let me read about this because this is pretty interesting. All right. During the New 52, certain changes were made to Scarecrow's origin to really show just how crazy he was. In the present day, though, Jonathan Crane is so insane and obsessed with fear that he sews his own lips together so that he himself resembles a Scarecrow, even without his mask. However, Crane kept the stitches very loose, ensuring that he'd still be able to speak despite the strings in the way of his mouth. While this change was purely cosmetic, it is definitely one of the creepier things Scarecrow has done, especially in recent years. He experimented on college kids. We talked about that. He murdered his own grandmother. We did also mention that. Let's talk about Scare Beast. We talked about him and how he turned into a giant mutated version of himself, and it's like the Hulk. He kidnapped a kid and introduced him to Venom by putting it in his system and activating it when Batman showed up. The kid attacked Batman. What is this? He in more than one occasion, he has made the city go into chaos. And a prime example would be Batman Arkham Knight.
Mm-hmm.
When he says, tomorrow this will seem like child's play, and everyone runs and evacuates the city. And he could, and that always gets me because everyone evacuates, and I'm just waiting for the next day. He was like, it was a joke.
It was a joke, I swear.
I wasn't really going to do anything. It was like, no one in the city anymore.
No one's in the city. He can't listen. It's just a prank. It's just a prank.
It's a prank, bro.
It's a prank, bro.
All right,
I would love a Scarecrow to do that one day. I want to see that in the next Arkham game. Hey, he's just pranking people.
This is a prank.
This is a prank, I swear.
He poisoned all of Gotham. That ties back into the Arkham Knight thing we were just talking about. He received a Yellow Lantern ring, which we did also talk about. And he left Gotham. I want to read about this. More recently, Scarecrow has been operating in a Bloodhaven rather than Gotham. Following the loss of Dick Grayson's memories, Bloodhaven found itself without a hero to protect it. Realizing this, Crane set his sights on the city, slowly taking over as he set his master plan in motion. What is truly frightening about this, though, is in how close Crane got to Dick Grayson himself. Thankfully, Dick's memory loss actually saved him from exposing himself or Bruce to Scarecrow, though he definitely came close. Eventually, a different Nightwing would take down Scarecrow thanks to the assistance of Dick Grayson, but there's no denying how close he truly came to overtaking the city. So he's not done too much crazy stuff, but he himself is just crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely not anywhere close to what the Joker done.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and from what I'm seeing, that is everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess we can go ahead and get ready to end this off.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this week on the Arkham Files. We had a blast to learn that Scarecrow is a psychopath, which we already knew.
Yeah. Yes.
We hope you guys learned something along the way here. And we'll go ahead and end this out. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
See ya.